2026 is going to be an incredible year for RPG fans. We've got massive worlds to explore, deep stories to experience, and some of the most ambitious games we've seen in years. From fantasy adventures to Dark Souls-like challenges, this lineup is packed with titles that could easily define the next era of role-playing games. After years of silence, Fable is finally back, and it looks absolutely stunning. This isn't just a reboot, it's a full reimagining of one of the most beloved RPG series ever made. Developed by Playground Games, the same team behind Forza Horizon, the new Fable mixes British humor, fairy tale charm, and modern storytelling in a way that feels both nostalgic and fresh. The world looks alive, full of odd characters, questionable heroes, and consequences that actually matter. Every choice you make, from helping a villager to stealing their lunch, can change how the world reacts to you. The series has always been about freedom, letting players become the hero or villain of their own ridiculous legend. And this version pushes that even further. Visually, it's stunning, with lush forests, absurdly detailed towns, and expressive NPCs that feel straight out of a fantasy movie. Most importantly, it finally captures that witty tone that made the original Fable so unique, where epic adventures meet hilarious dialogue and unpredictable outcomes. If everything goes as it should, this could easily become one of the defining RPGs of 2026 and a comeback story worthy of the franchise's name. One of the most legendary JRPGs of all time is finally getting the treatment it deserves. Dragon Quest VII, originally released on the PlayStation, is being completely reimagined for a new generation. Instead of a simple remaster, this project rebuilds the entire adventure from the ground up, transforming its world with stunning visuals, smoother gameplay systems, and a much more immersive storytelling approach. You'll once again travel across time to restore lost civilizations, uncover ancient secrets, and rebuild a broken world piece by piece. The game's charming tone and Toriyama's iconic art style are still here, but now with incredible detail, lighting, and emotion in every scene. The turn-based combat has been modernized too, promising faster pacing and more tactical depth while keeping the classic feel that fans love. It's the kind of remake that feels more like a revival, something made for both old-school players and newcomers who never got to experience this epic journey. And honestly, I can't wait to see how this version will breathe new life into one of the greatest time travel stories ever told in gaming. The Yakuza saga continues to evolve, and this time it's leaning fully into action RPG territory. Yakuza Kiwami 3 and Dark Ties blends the series' signature street-brawling chaos with deep role-playing elements, experience points, skill trees, and character bonds that actually affect gameplay. You'll once again step into the shoes of Kazuma Kiryu, torn between his quiet life in Okinawa and the criminal world that refuses to let him go. The city feels more alive than ever, packed with side stories, absurd mini-games, and emotional subplots that make every corner worth exploring. Combat has been rebuilt from the ground up, mixing real-time fighting with an RPG progression system inspired by Like a Dragon. You can master multiple fighting styles, unlock powerful heat abilities, and strengthen friendships that alter battle outcomes. But what truly sets Dark Ties apart is its emotional storytelling, a mix of family, loyalty, and redemption that hits harder than ever. It's not just about fists and street fights anymore. It's about choices, consequences, and the legacy Kiryu leaves behind. For anyone who loves story-driven action RPGs, this one looks like pure gold. This new chapter in Capcom's spin-off series takes the familiar Monster Hunter universe and turns it into a full-blown turn-based JRPG adventure. Monster Hunter Stories 3 continues the tale of riders, warriors who bond with monsters instead of hunting them, but with a darker, more emotional tone than before. The story explores the consequences of a fractured world, where strange distortions twist both creatures and humans into something unrecognizable. You'll hatch and raise your monsties, customize their skills through the gene system, and fight alongside them in tactical, beautifully animated battles. The turn-based combat has been refined once again, focusing on reading enemy patterns and executing powerful combo attacks with your team. Exploration is also getting a big upgrade, featuring larger open zones filled with secrets, ancient ruins, and rare eggs to discover. Every monstie feels unique, not just in appearance but in the way they affect how you play. Twisted Reflection is shaping up to be one of Capcom's most emotional RPGs yet, mixing the warmth of friendship with a haunting story about corruption and courage. For fans of the series or anyone who loves creature collecting RPGs with heart, this one looks like pure adventure magic. Beast of Reincarnation is an action RPG that explores the cycle of transformation, destiny, and the weight of our past choices. Inspired by Eastern mythology, it puts you in the role of a warrior bound to an ancient power, one that constantly reshapes who you are and how the world sees you. Each battle and decision influences your spiritual energy, unlocking new combat abilities, moral paths, and even the way the world reacts to you. In one lifetime, you might walk the path of peace and harmony. In another, you could be guided by instinct and fury. The world is breathtaking yet mysterious. Glowing temples, misty valleys, and colossal guardians that test both your skill and determination. What really stands out to me is how the game treats change itself as the ultimate challenge. Every action echoes through time, shaping the person you become. It's not just about fighting powerful foes, but about understanding the balance between who you were and who you're becoming. And honestly, I'm really excited for this one. Everything about Beast of Reincarnation looks absolutely fascinating. Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave is shaping up to be one of the most ambitious tactical RPGs in the series. This new entry returns to the classic grid-based combat that fans love, but introduces a deeper narrative system where every choice truly carries weight. Set in a kingdom divided by prophecy, the game follows multiple factions whose destinies are literally intertwined by fate. Every decision you make can alter not only the story, but also the relationships between key characters on the battlefield. Strategy is still the heart of it. Positioning, weapon advantages, and unit synergy remain essential, but now you can manipulate the threads of fate themselves to influence future outcomes. The art direction looks absolutely stunning, combining vibrant anime-style character designs with cinematic battle animations. Support conversations have been expanded too, allowing characters to evolve emotionally and tactically over time. It feels like the developers are blending the storytelling depth of Three Houses with the structure of the GBA classics, a perfect mix of old and new Fire Emblem. And as someone who's been playing this series for years, I can already tell this one has the potential to be something truly special. Gothic 1 Remake brings one of the most influential European RPGs back to life with a full modern overhaul. Originally released in the early 2000s, the game became a cult classic for its brutal world, player freedom, and unforgiving choices. And now it's being completely rebuilt from the ground up. The remake keeps the same core identity. You're a nameless convict thrown into a dangerous mining colony surrounded by monsters, criminals, and corrupt magic. Survival means earning respect, choosing alliances carefully, and mastering a combat system that demands patience and skill. Everything about the world has been redesigned to feel more immersive, with dynamic weather, realistic lighting, and detailed animations that make every fight and conversation more intense. The developers are also updating the dialogue and quest design to make it more fluid and impactful, while preserving the dark tone that made Gothic stand out. It's not just a visual upgrade, it's a full reimagining that respects the original's depth and moral complexity. Whether you sided with the old camp, the new camp, or the Brotherhood back in the day, this remake looks ready to remind everyone why Gothic defined a generation of open-world RPGs. Exodus is a sci-fi RPG from BioWare that promises to bring back the studio's golden era of storytelling, the kind of narrative depth and player choice that made Mass Effect and Dragon Age iconic. Set in a distant galaxy on the brink of collapse, you play as a traveler, part explorer and part outlaw, navigating between rival factions, moral dilemmas, and the unknown dangers of deep space. Every decision you make carries real weight, shaping not only the people around you, but entire civilizations across the stars. Combat blends third-person shooting with RPG progression, letting you customize weapons, powers, and even emotional responses during dialogue. The visual style is breathtaking, shimmering cities on alien planets, derelict ships floating in silence, and massive cosmic storms that make the universe feel alive. What stands out is the focus on consequence. Time in Exodus moves differently across the galaxy, so years might pass for one character while only days go by for another. It's a bold idea that could redefine how choices matter in an RPG, combining emotion, exploration, and the mystery of space into one of BioWare's most daring projects yet. Nioh 3 is expected to push the boundaries of action RPGs, taking everything the Team Ninja series is known for, fast, punishing combat, and deep build customization, and refining it to near perfection. Set in a darker and more mystical version of feudal Japan, the game continues the fusion of history and mythology that made the previous entries so distinct. Players once again face brutal yokai demons and skilled human warriors, where every strike dodge, and parry demands precision. The combat system evolves with new weapon stances, elemental effects, and improved Kai management, making every encounter a tactical dance between risk and reward. Character progression goes even deeper this time, allowing for hybrid builds that mix samurai techniques, ninja arts, and spiritual magic. Visually, Nioh 3 looks breathtaking, with cinematic lighting, haunting temples, and environments soaked in atmosphere. The narrative also promises to explore themes of legacy and redemption, what it means to fight not just for survival, but for purpose. With its unmatched speed, tight mechanics, and deep lore, Nioh 3 looks ready to stand among the most intense and rewarding RPGs of the generation. The Relic First Guardian is an action RPG with strong Souls-like elements, built around deliberate combat, exploration, and a mysterious ancient world filled with danger. You play as a lone guardian chosen to protect the last fragment of a fading civilization, a relic that holds the key to restoring balance to a dying land. Every battle feels weighty and precise, demanding patience, timing, and understanding of your enemy's patterns. Like a true Souls-like, it rewards observation and mastery rather than brute force. The world design looks stunning, filled with ruins of forgotten kingdoms, towering stone deities, and creatures that blur the line between divine and monstrous. Progression comes through discovering hidden relics, enhancing your abilities, and uncovering the truth behind the world's fall. There's a heavy emphasis on atmosphere too. Minimal dialogue, haunting music, and storytelling done through visuals and symbolism. It's mysterious, punishing, and beautiful all at once. The Relic First Guardian looks like the kind of game that challenges both skill and patience, the kind that leaves you thinking long after you've set the controller down. Crimson Desert is an open-world action RPG from Pearl Abyss, the creators of Black Desert Online, and it's aiming to deliver one of the most cinematic experiences the genre has ever seen. Set in the harsh continent of Pywell, the game follows Macduff, a mercenary leader struggling to survive amid political chaos, betrayal, and the burden of leadership. Unlike typical MMOs, this is a single-player-focused RPG with deep story elements, emotional cutscenes, and a world that feels alive with dynamic weather, real-time physics, and seamless transitions between exploration and combat. The fighting system looks fast and brutal, blending weapon combos, grappling moves, and environmental interactions, like throwing enemies off cliffs or using your surroundings to gain an edge. Beyond combat, players can trade, hunt, fish, climb, and interact with townsfolk who each have their own routines and personalities. Every encounter, from bandits to beasts, feels handcrafted rather than repetitive. Crimson Desert wants to merge storytelling and freedom in a way few RPGs have managed, an ambitious mix of The Witcher's depth and Assassin's Creed's fluidity. If Pearl Abyss can truly balance those elements, this could end up being one of the most impressive action RPGs in years. The Blood of Dawnwalker is a dark Souls-like action RPG that mixes intense combat, atmospheric storytelling, and breathtaking visual design. Set in a dying world where sunlight itself is fading, you play as the last of the Dawnwalkers, ancient warriors bound to protect what little light remains. Every fight is deliberate and punishing, demanding patience, timing, and mastery of your blade. Your abilities are fueled by fragments of divine light, turning each encounter into a balance between survival and sacrifice. The environments are vast and haunting, Gothic ruins, forgotten temples, and crimson skies that never truly brighten. The world feels heavy with history, where every statue and whisper hints at a fallen age. Unlike many dark fantasy games, this one focuses on emotion as much as difficulty, showing the human side of endurance and loss. Everything about it, the art direction, the sound, the tone, feels crafted to pull you deep into its world. I've been following this one closely, and from what's been shown so far, The Blood of Dawnwalker is easily one of the games I'm most eager to experience. Soulframe is an MMORPG from the creators of Warframe, built around the idea of connection, with nature, with spirits, and with the world itself. Unlike its sci-fi predecessor, this game embraces a slower, more deliberate tone, trading futuristic gunfights for mystical combat driven by emotion and balance. Players take the role of envoys of the natural world, exploring vast landscapes filled with living ecosystems and ancient ruins. The combat is methodical and weighty, emphasizing timing, awareness, and the bond between your character and their chosen spirit companion. Every environment tells a story: forests that react to your presence, mountains that hide ancient secrets, and ethereal creatures that shift between ally and threat. Visually, it's breathtaking, blending organic beauty with surreal fantasy elements that feel alive and unpredictable. Instead of endless grinding, the focus here is on exploration, cooperation, and discovery. Soulframe feels more like a journey than a mission, a game about restoring harmony rather than destroying it. After years of quiet development, the project finally opened its early access phase in July 2025, giving players their first real glimpse of its hauntingly beautiful world. The Seven Deadly Sins Origin is an open-world anime action RPG inspired by the iconic manga and anime series. Developed by Netmarble, it takes the formula of Grand Cross and transforms it into a full-scale 3D adventure, with real-time combat and an original story set in the same universe. You can freely switch between characters like Meliodas, Elizabeth, and new heroes, each with unique abilities and elemental powers that completely change how battles play out. The world feels alive. Wide-open landscapes, ancient ruins, and mythical creatures from Arthurian legends fill every corner. Combat is flashy, fast, and full of stylish combos, capturing the energy of the anime with fluid movement and explosive special attacks. Exploration is a huge part of the experience too. You can climb mountains, dive underwater, and glide across enormous regions without loading screens. The cel-shaded visuals give it that perfect anime aesthetic while still feeling like a next-gen RPG. It's colorful, fast-paced, and full of personality. Everything fans could hope for. And as an anime fan myself, I have to say, this one looks like a seriously fun and exciting RPG to dive into. Mortal Shell 2 rises once again from the shadows, bringing a deeper and more haunting vision of the Soulslike experience. This sequel expands the scope of the first game, placing players in a world where faith, decay, and memory intertwine. You still inhabit the bodies of fallen warriors, the shells, each carrying fragments of a life long forgotten. Every step forward feels heavy with mystery, every fight a slow, deliberate dance between steel and silence. Combat rewards precision over power, using the iconic hardening mechanic that lets you deflect death itself in the blink of an eye. The environments are breathtaking yet desolate. Cathedrals swallowed by fog, hollowed forests, and ruins echoing with prayers from a faith that no longer exists. Sound design does most of the storytelling. The creak of armor, the hum of wind, the echo of footsteps in an empty world. There's no guidance, only the promise of understanding through persistence. Mortal Shell 2 doesn't just test reflexes, it tests resolve. It feels colder, heavier, and more introspective than ever. A journey into darkness that's finally about to begin. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more RPG content like this. It really helps the channel grow. Watching all these announcements made me realize something. I genuinely miss a pure RPG, you know? The kind that starts from nothing, where you build your skills, armor, and strength from the ground up. That simple, raw sense of progression that made the genre so special in the first place.